Let's try that again.
Okay.
Bay Harbor Bitching. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Hard Deconstruction, doing a special episode about Dexter. It's called Bay Harbor Bitching. It's with your host, Alex, and
Uncle Penny.
And today's show is...
Bay Harbor Bitching? Is that what we're calling it?
Yes, I guess...
well, let's take a vote. Bay Harbor Bitching or Bay Harbor Boobies?
We did see boobies. So this is... We're going to be reviewing episode 8. What? Season 8, episode 1, which is... What's it called? Brand New Day?
Beautiful Day.
A Beautiful Day, excuse me. And it's...
about the whole episode is just replaying the lyrics from the U2 song.
Yes, so then we just see Bono congratulate himself about all the money he's gotten for Africa, for long speeches. Anyway.
And then he takes a big dump.
But we're also basically glossing over the first 7 seasons of Dexter. Why we haven't done like episodes on Dexter, I don't know why, but it seems... Maybe because I was affected by season...
It's almost like so obvious that we just didn't think of it.
Yeah,
I think it's like one of those things.
I think I was probably like by seasons 5 and 6, I was like, oh no. But anyway.
Well, there was a point where I was totally behind. I didn't watch season 6. Okay. Somehow I completely avoided anybody ruining it for me. It was like halfway through season 7, then I just like marathoned and caught up.
Maybe that's probably why we didn't do the show, because I was already caught up by the time you were still doing it.
And I was like living in Italy at that point.
Oh, what a blowhard. So, Dexter. Let's get into a little bit of history of the Dexter series. The Dexter series, it's going to spoil. Well, anyway,
yeah,
anybody who's seen...
ton of spoilers. So
anybody who's seen season 8 by now knows what everything that's going on. I'm also going to talk about the books. So let's get into...
Try not to spoil too much, because I haven't read them yet.
Believe me, there's nothing you can spoil with those books.
Okay.
It's okay writing, but it's nothing that great. But I mean, I can go into the little things, like what happens to certain characters on shows. But by now, every character that's like dead in the books is already dead in the series, so it's not really going to spoil anything. So let's get into Dexter. When did you first know of Dexter?
I think I got into it kind of like coming towards the end of season 4, but I like started obviously at season 1 and really just like instantly hooked. And then like the moment I watched like a few episodes, I got my mom hooked into it, and she's like obsessed with it more probably than me or you combined.
Really?
Yeah.
What does she like about it so much?
She just like, I think she has a crush on Dexter.
On Michael C. Hall, the actor?
Yeah, maybe.
Jesus. Was she crying when he had like cancer and he was like about to like go and stuff? Was she like sad that he divorced like Jennifer Carpenter and all that shit?
I don't know if she even follows his outside of Dexter life.
She just want to believe he's a normal man. She wants to believe he's an actual serial killer.
Right, she's like Lila.
I think sometimes she'll just adopt an English accent. But for most of people, like me, I was on a train. I was at a train, and I saw the ad for Dexter, which was that kind of. It's like.
Yeah, I used to see them a lot, actually.
Yeah, they were really pushing the series when it first started. Showtime.
I never cared. I remember I saw like, I guess it was like an awards thing, and like nobody knows he's a serial killer. So like when they called him up and gave him the award, like what's her face, Jennifer Carpenter or whatever, was like, he's a serial killer, like joking, and I was thinking, oh, it's like a comedy about a serial killer or something. I didn't like get.
It's funny because when I first heard about the series, like, oh, it's a serial killer killing killers. I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. I like watching well done serial killer movies. God knows there hasn't been that many that are worth watching that have a serial killer lead. Like the only other one I can really think of is like American Psycho. Do you know what I mean? There's no.
They're out there, but they're few and far between. There's way more bad ones than good ones.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I mean, it's making a character interesting while they're trying to kill people without it just kind of spiraling into something stupid. Like George Romero made a movie called Bruiser, which had an interesting premise about this guy who is kind of a nerd.
He's a hemophiliac. He bruises really easily.
his wife is like bang.
Anytime anyone touches him, he just gets like bruises on him.
That's
like the whole movie.
He's such a loser. Like he's at his I don't know what kind of job he was doing, but anyway, his boss was getting like a hand job from his wife, and he's just stood there crying and stuff. And then he wakes up. He puts on this kind of white featureless mask on. And then he wakes up with the mask attached to his face that it almost becomes his skin, so he can't take it off. And he just starts killing everybody. but it was such a stupid movie. It's like even the wife, like everybody has a revenge fantasy on somebody that cheated on them. He throws his wife out of a window, even though she really all she did was like jerk off a guy. Right. I mean, it's a little bit too much for killing someone.
It wasn't a happy ending for her.
I guess not. And that is the worst final shot in history of one of those movies. But anyway, like just getting back to Dexter, you see those posters that pretty famous original picture of him with a corpse's hand on his face, kind of like the "aw shucks" or "I'm bored" kind of stance.
Right.
And once you find out he's part of the Miami Metro Division, he's a blood sample expert, blood splatter expert. Excuse me. And he works for the Miami-Dade section of the police, right? Is that what it is? Detective squad or whatever. And there's
homicide department.
Yeah, the original crew. I guess the original crew still lasted at least for 8 seasons. It was Angel Batista.
Dokes isn't there.
Yeah, it was Angel Batista, Dokes. Angel Batista is kind of like the chubby Hispanic guy. I guess he's Cuban.
And he's such a bad guy in Oz, and it was so hard for me to adjust to him as a nice Spanish dude,
Just any nice Spanish dude kind of bothers you.
Yeah, no, I picture them mowing my lawn or something.
So there's him, and there's also what was Dokes'
There was
first name?
LaGuardia, there's what's his face,
Wait, but James Dokes.
Mazuka.
James Dokes for the first 2 seasons was Dexter's nemesis. Kind of like he just felt that Dexter was something wrong with him, so he kept bugging the shit out of him. But he was awesome though. And there was also
and Quinn then came along. What, like season 3 or something?
Yeah, Quinn was like trying to be the white Dokes, but then they kind of got tired of it real quick, and they kind of just threw his storyline in the garbage. There's a lot of weird storylines.
They really left a lot of unanswered questions about that. Actually, he essentially knows that Dexter is bad
because he killed RoboCop.
Never...
But let's go season 1. What were your? We both wrote about it on Tumblr, and I put your answers up on Tumblr as well. People liked it,
cool.
And they didn't like mine. But they what are things about season 1 that you kind of liked and disliked?
Well, it's like. I guess I feel like shows since Dexter started have been getting progressively higher quality.
Yeah.
But budget-wise, acting-wise, like it's almost like every show now is like a movie.
Right.
And I feel like Dexter is one of the first ones of this new generation of amazing new shows.
I felt like that season 1 of Dexter, it's not obviously the originator of the best dramas that are out there, because there's obviously the Sopranos and stuff like that, but this was one of the really good genre ones, like the really good.
Yeah.
It had a weird niche that it kind of.
You don't have to be a horror person to love Dexter.
Yeah, because
even like horror. A lot of it's like crime stuff. Like there's a lot of like cop shit if you're into that, and like drama and all this kind of stuff.
It easily follows like the procedural kind of thing. The CSI Miami and all that stuff. It's basically like that, but they stretch it over a season, and they have a main bad guy that they deal with, as opposed to like if you watch CSI.
Each episode is like a contained. It's its own thing.
Yeah, they're able to capture everybody within within one episode. The worst serial killers, even though God knows how many in real life, how many murders have gone unsolved.
Right.
Just look at Dexter. Nobody solved him. Well, I guess some people did, but they never make it out to the end. But season 1 introduced us to Dexter's sister Deb, who was working Vice. Right, she was.
I don't even think she was like a full detective. She wasn't a detective either.
She was working Vice, and then when she got a big break, finding out, I think it had to deal with the ice truck killer, that she got promoted to like. We actually see throughout the seasons, we see Deborah rise in the ranks, which is pretty interesting. I always liked.
Now we've seen her sink considerably.
Yes. I like Deborah a lot. I think in some aspects I like her a little bit more than Dexter because she's able to admit more. Do you know what I mean?
have to say, like, spoiler, like, well, whatever. If you're listening to
everybody knows what this is.
But the scene, and my friend, like, pointed out, like, the scene, and made me watch it again and again. Like, yeah, no, it's sick. Where LaGuardia sits Deb down and shows her a video of her in a gas station getting the tanks of gas.
Right, yeah, that was in season 7, right.
And her reaction to it, though, like, the way Deb is acting, like, you could feel how fucking nervous she is and stuff.
Yeah, she's
it's
good.
So, like I'm watching, like, getting nauseous, like, picturing myself in such a situation. That show brings that out. Like, it really does.
The best way I can say that, like, saying what kind of, like, when she gets in that mode, it's almost like a caged animal. Like, not a caged animal, but an animal that's scared. Right. You can almost see it. It looks like an animal with a panic attack. Like, she's really good at that. Like, My favorite acting from her, honestly, recently was when she is kind of trying to squash down the feelings for Dexter because she's in love with her adopted brother, and there's parts when she had to talk to her psychiatrist, and she's like, "What?" Like she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like she's just like, "What do you?" She has that really, really confounded look and stuff like that. And then the part when she actually tells him that she's in love with him, she's really good. Jennifer Carpenter really is good. And it's funny in the book, Deborah. It's been a while since I read the first one, but Deborah somehow knows he's a murderer, but she's fine with it.
Right. So
like
she's a totally different character.
It's a total opposite in this one. But
is she like the same character? Like,
sort of is. Like, well, physically no, because she actually has like huge breasts and she has like a voluptuous body in the original books. And they
like mentally, is she like more or less the same?
Fairly.
She wouldn't be okay with it in this. She's not okay with it in this.
I guess she really wouldn't be the same kind of character because just the way she's gotten in this version of the show is different than how she is in the series. Like in the show, I mean in the book, she asks Dexter to use his kind of dark passenger to help her find out crimes and stuff. Because in the novels, he's busy helping find these killers and trying to do it on the download without telling her that he's going to kill so and so. But she's well aware, and I think this because she finds out Brian is the ice truck killer in the books, and the ice truck killer is really fairly obviously who it is in the first ones because you can tell this other character who happens to be the nice boyfriend. Once another character is given more screen time than anybody else is. And they couldn't do a payoff like if it was Masuka or anywhere.
Especially in something like this, if they're nice and they're too nice, you gotta wonder why, maybe.
Yeah, they're not like, and if they're too dark.
But I honestly, when I watched it the first time, I didn't expect it. I was
you didn't expect Brian to be. And that's so funny because people were like, "Oh man, Brian was the best," and I'm like, "Really? I didn't really get a vibe from."
It was a great scene though when they were cleaning the house and dancing and stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that was pretty cool. But season 1 was like a very, very much so a high point in the series. Like just how tight it was, because it kind of loses its way with. I don't know what the fuck happened in later seasons, but there's some episodes where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I mean, but it's not enough where you stop watching the show.
Right.
I mean,
I there was really only one season that bored me to death.
And that was season 6 for you, right?
Yeah, but then thinking back, I don't know.
Travis and
I'm gonna have to watch it again because Travis is a good actor.
Travis and Dr. Adama.
Edward, Adama's in it. Like, that's cool. And it was so funny because I was watching that season at the same time that I was like obsessing over Battlestar.
Oh yeah.
And to go back and forth from them to see the transition, like it was the weirdest thing.
And the quality of show that they were in.
Yeah,
right?
like just the character, like to see Adama, he's always like in this friggin' outfit with all his like medals on his neck, to wearing like a Hawaiian T-shirt and just standing there watching some guy kill someone. Like, it's like, what?
See, season 2 had to deal with Dexter. He had to cover up all his tracks. It was funny because he was dating what's her face. Wow, I can't believe I forgot her name. Rita, excuse me. And she had her 2 bratty kids. And you can tell the writers in the back of their head, they were like, oh shit, we gotta get rid of these characters, but we don't know how. What kind of writing what the Dexter writers do is that they write themselves into a fucking wall, like,
But they always write themselves out again, so that's okay.
Yeah, but even they wait for the end of the season, so even like shit that they didn't tie up, they'll just be like, okay, it's gone now. They'll just explain it off in one line because there was Batista was seeing this undercover cop for like prostitution ring because he was sleeping with hookers. They had a whole thing going on. I think it was towards season. When did him and LaGuardia get married?
I don't even remember. It's all like a blur.
I think it was season 4, but so she must have been like by season 3, Angel's with this chick, and they were setting it all up for him to be with this girl, and then the next season she just wasn't even there. It was him and LaGuardia. Like they automatically got married by the time that the seasons happened. So I was like, what the fuck?
Well, the biggest unanswered question for me is, okay, so Quinn has him being followed by RoboCop and
that's
all this stuff.
That's just poor writing, what you're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, basically. He has him being followed. He, like, essentially knows that he's a killer. Like, he knows it.
Yeah, Quinn is a dirty cop.
And then Quinn gets in a situation, and Dexter kind of, like, saves his ass.
And that's why Quinn is like, okay, we're the same,
right,
we're fine.
But
like,
still,
what?
though, like, he knows that he's, like, he knows he's bad.
And the reason why he doesn't ape on Dexter is because he's in love with Deborah. That's the only reason he's doing that. He gives him a pass because he.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he had blood samples on him, which put him in the scene of the crime. And he was like, "What the fuck?" So, just because he loved Deborah so much, you know what I mean? That's why he didn't do it. I'm like, this motherfucker's nuts. He's letting a guy who's potentially a serial killer. This is why Quinn was.
I guess he doesn't know for a fact. Maybe he's just like, okay, I don't want to know, or something.
Yeah, Quinn. I'd have a real problem though if I was a cop, but then he's a dirty cop. But he's not a dirty cop where he's like a piece of garbage. But he does. Sometimes he'll take money and do questionable acts and stuff like that. And the big problem with Quinn, like when you first see Quinn coming in, you realize he's supposed to be the white version of Dokes, but he's nowhere near that. Like he's kind of like got this attitude. But
he's
it's
the
more
version
of like
Dokes that sleeps with like inflatable dolls and dresses them up.
But yeah, that's Quinn's problem. Like Quinn was originally supposed to be set up to be the next Dokes, but I think people just were like, "Get the fuck out of here!" He didn't have the air about him, and just because when you see Dokes in the show, Dokes is like this huge, scary, bald guy. Yeah, he's like a scary guy. He's like a T-800, the Black Terminator. Have you ever seen that movie? I think it was called TC-800, whatever. But yeah, he's like Billy Blanks with a weird nose job, and he's just like. Billy Blanks was this. He used to be this black action hero, but he only did like straight to video movies because people in the 80s are racist.
Movies?
No, he was like, I'm not making a joke. He made a Black Terminator movie called TC-800 or something.
Jesus Christ,
it's really embarrassing for people. But anyway, yeah. So Quinn is like that. Angel is there, I guess. I like Angel. I think I like him a lot. I wish he would do a lot more. He does a lot in the show, but he's kind of like the bumbling.
In the books, is he important?
Yeah. I think he fits his role in the books, but he's not really like. For some reason, they call him Angel No Relations Batista, and I keep forgetting why the fuck they even say that in the book. But unless somebody else is called Batista, I have no clue. But he has a sister that magically appears within season 6 or 5 or something like that.
She's the nanny.
She's like this cute Spanish chick that
she's cute, but I gotta say, when I saw her having sex with Quinn, she's too skinny. I could see ribs in her back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd be alright. She's
she's definitely pretty and
she's
stuff,
got a nice
but I don't know. She's got she should put on like.
But that's
10
another
pounds.
That's another thing where the writers are just automatically insert. I mean, I guess in real life there's people that you don't really talk about and they can show up one day and be there. But it's just like they never mention these characters. They've never been there. But then you realize, who gives a flying fuck?
Yeah, if they showed us like 6 months worth of Quinn and her romancing, it'd be like, okay, it's boring.
There was so James Dokes. You want to get into who he was and how important he was to the show?
He is your quintessential angry black man.
He probably was.
No, he is just like a really angry like Marine who probably like killed people in war.
Even more than Marine. You think he was like Black Ops? I don't mean that in a racist way. I think he was just
he's like an intense soldier, like really post traumatic, and
he had to do a lot of shit. Like
he was this really angry cop, and he dated LaGuardia. I think they had like a romance.
There was some parts like that in the show where he was investigating some guy in a boat and he had to kill him, and he was like, he didn't want to do it, because it'd probably bring up some bad shit about him. But in the novels, it's completely different. Dokes is still alive in the novels, and he's just as much of an asshole in the novels, which is pretty cool. But I still want to ruin what's going on.
Don't. But just tell me this, Lila.
You would find it funny because I'll just say that he's still around. He's still a cop, but he's basically half man, half machine.
Okay.
You just got to take it from there because it was like. It's just weird how the book is. The book is completely kind of off the rails crazy because
what is it, like supernatural, like sci-fi?
Yeah, it does go into that. They made it. Yes, it does. Because Jeff, what the hell is his name? Oh God, the guy who created Dexter. His name is let me see, Jeff. What the hell is his name? Do you know?
No, I don't know. Created
by Jeff Lindsay. Jeff Lindsay created the character, and he obviously got the money. He kind of bitches that they steered a lot away from the novels, but you know what? I don't know
Who cares? I mean, they're good. It's a good show. I don't give a shit.
The first 2 novels are pretty straight up, the same as the series is. Like,
well, if Dokes is still alive, couldn't be exactly the same.
Yeah,
unless
I
he
mean,
blows
but
up
with-
and gets half a cyborg body or something.
With a TV show, I think they went two different ways because Dokes was dealt with in the books as he was like in the show, but not as directly. Because like Dokes still doesn't have any proof that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher, but he still gets kind of a comeuppance in a way that kind of limits him trying to fight Dexter. But in the series, they wrote themselves in a corner because it was so good. They figured, we're doing such a good series that the people will like it so much that we killed this kind of integral character to the series that we can just keep continuing.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, that was
it was great, but it was a misstep.
like the best season finale.
It was good. It was good. The only thing that mars the second season for me is Lila. I just don't for me. I don't care about. I know
she's awesome.
She is, but I mean, I'm not into when they bring the female equivalent because he has so much. But I understand why they would do it because it's
but each season has a different equivalent. That's what's so cool. Like Lila's like this like weird, out of control, crazy person,
and Lila's
and Jimmy Smits is like sort of normal, but you see him go crazy. Like it's great.
Lila's like the first incarnation out of the three types of women that Dexter's been with that kind of into the killing with him. It was like Lila, it was
Lumen and Cassie.
and then
is that her name, Cassie?
Who, the new one? Hannah?
Hannah.
Yeah, Cassie.
Who the hell is Cassie?
So Dokes gets dealt with differently in the book, but he's still around and he's still kind of being a bug up Dexter's ass. So it's interesting. I listen to the audiobooks. So there's like 4 of them, I believe, right now. There's Darkly Dreaming Dexter. They're all with D's. The Jeff Lindsay's trying to be funny, like just calling them with D's. He's gonna run out of fucking words. But the first 2 books were normal. The third book,
Doggy Dexter. He just starts going crazy.
By the third book, he's is a supernatural thing. The Dark Passenger literally is an ancient.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
But you know what? He kind of the Jeff Lindsay, I guess, drops that whole angle within the other 2 books, or the other book that follows it.
Okay.
So I mean, I think he probably was like writing.
That's like some Nightmare on Elm Street shit right there. Like, you can see like the 3 worms come out.
They wish, yeah. He puts on 3D glasses and his head explodes at the end with dynamite. No, but he must have gotten some feedback or something. I think he was like, "What the fuck are they doing with my character? I'm gonna take my character and make my own, imprint with who this character is." It's just I thought in season 7, that guy who dresses up like a bull. He kind of not a bull. He dresses up as the what is that thing called? It's that old
Minotaur.
He dresses up a Minotaur. It's like I think it was a slight reference to that stuff that happens in the 3rd book because there's a whole cult that they deal with.
Oh, there's cults and shit? That's cool. Actually,
yeah.
I should really read it, I guess.
You should give it a look. I mean, it's not that great of writing, but it's still interesting. Like, I'll listen to the audiobook, but I can imagine reading the book and probably want to use it as toilet paper. But the 4th book...
Send me the audiobook.
Okay, sure. The 4th book... legally, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, legally. I'll pay for it.
For the 4th book, he deals with a copycat killer. So, I mean, they're all basically this. I'm sure he wrote that a while back, and then to see it on the show, he'd be like, oh, fuck. But they obviously went 2 different ways, and you can tell by Jeff Lindsay that he's kind of like, oh fuck, why don't they use my ideas? Like he probably has this real like writer's problem with it. Obviously, cause
right.
He kind of mentions it in interviews, but whatever we're gonna do, dude. It's like
just shut up.
He's complaining.
Take your $8 million per season.
He's sitting on. He has enough money to fucking print his own face on his own money. But anyway, with season 2 with Dokes gets obviously blown to pieces, and I felt bad. I was like, oh, maybe there's hope to find him, and then you see like a faceless skeleton. Right. Like, oh, that's not Dokes. I was very.
He can still be alive.
Yeah, that's probably how Dokes looks in the book. Like if
actually, like for this season, we should probably get into this season pretty soon. But I was thinking LaGuardia, she could be alive, maybe, because we don't see her die. And Dexter's really thorough, but maybe he messed up or something. I don't know.
Look,
and like she comes
6 months after.
Well, maybe like they just left the scene or something, and then like
LaGuardia dies in the 1st book. That's the difference.
Yeah, but
she was
then,
living on borrowed
thinking
time.
Logically, like he definitely made sure that she was dead, and it was set up perfectly.
I mean, he's pretty good at covering his tracks in the series. Like, I guess they even though it was Deb's bullet that killed him. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had to find a way to change it to be that other guy.
But did he like stab through the hole of the bullet hole or something?
I don't remember. I don't know. But season 3, what was 3? 3 was
it's Jimmy Smits.
I liked it. A lot of people hated it. They thought that was the
I
worst
liked it,
season.
too.
I liked it. I liked Jimmy Smith's character. He was like this guy who had power as a DA. He wanted to find his brother's killer, who was actually Dexter.
My friend describes it as just a really boring version of like some guy hanging out with a Spanish guy.
What?
He's like, yeah, it's just like you're watching like Dexter hang out with like some Spanish dude in his house. Like, I get what he's saying, but like it's good. I like.
They should have merged season 3 with the Miguel Prado. Like you see him fly to planet Alderaan. So then he fucking he just adopts Leia and whatever her name is. You know, it's funny.
Right.
He gets blown up right by the Death Star. I just thought about that. But anyway, so season 3 had Miguel Prado, and then they had the guy called the Skinner, who was based on another character from the books as well, but not by name for some reason. I think legally.
What was the name of that boyfriend that was skinned?
The young African American gentleman who played the saxophone.
I don't remember being.
Yeah, he's a black guy. He played the saxophone.
He was really cool though. I
liked him, and even when she cheated on him with that old fart, he still took her back, and she was like, "No." He just left. He was like, "All right, see you later." I felt bad for that guy. That guy was like
what happened, Lundy. Yeah.
He's a nice guy, and girlfriend.
But wasn't Lundy there in in the second season, or am I wrong?
Yeah, Lundy was there, and then he kind of he had an affair with her. Deb has an affair with an older cop in the books as well. But I don't think that was because of Lundy. I'm not sure, whatever. But yeah, Lundy was an interesting character. I like what he brought. Obviously, he was there to get Dexter. But anybody who like goes after Dexter, you just know they have like a timer on them. Yeah, there's no chance. And so Lundy was interesting until he gets killed by
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow's daughter.
John Lithgow's daughter
shoots him, even though that was like a really shitty reveal. But I think it got spoiled for me before I even got to see it, so I was like, I can't help but be like, that's kind of stupid.
That whole season makes me like so nervous and uptight.
Season 4, with John Lithgow, you see his nude butt cheeks as he's jumping into a bathtub to slice this woman's femoral artery in her leg.
So crazy.
He was really good, and then it's funny because then you can go on YouTube, and he loves making albums for children, like musical albums. He loves like entertaining kids. So you could just imagine he's just playing "Shut Up, Cunts," like he's just saying that.
So as he's like doing the child scene with the train tracks and all these things, like one of the last episodes, he's like in his head like a sicko.
But that season 4 was a real it was a real reversal. I mean, it got everything right with season 3 had gotten wrong, even though it had an interesting bad guy, and it was basically recycling the same thing because by season 4 you were like, is Dexter just gonna be friends with a serial killer like every season from now? And can they do something different? But I don't know.
It was different. It's like different versions and takes on the same idea.
Yeah, and they fixed what they got wrong with season 3. I mean, it was a big fucking jump for them.
Well, season 3 is just so slow paced and like not much happens, but it's still good.
But the writers had a lot of balls to basically recycle the same storyline, but do it differently with a different actor. Yeah. And it works. And it had a really crazy ending with Rita dying. Like I was saying before, you liked Rita though, right? Or no?
Yeah, I was very upset when she died.
I liked Rita a lot, but then I knew as soon as I was like watching, I was like, why is this episode going on a little bit longer than it should? Then I was like, oh, this chick is dead, bro. And I was like, oh, and a lot of people were like, fuck Rita, like way back when. And then when she died, you're like, wow, she's kind of like the only nice character in the show. She was like the only one that wasn't a piece of garbage. Even the kids were.
Deb too.
Yeah, but she's kind of a psychopath, like cursing every 3 seconds. She is a good person, but she's more volatile than she is nice.
Yeah, Rita was definitely like totally pretty innocent, I'd say.
Yeah, so that she was a sacrificial lamb on the show. And then by season 5, we had to deal with Lumen.
Why did you hate it so much? It wasn't.
To me, it just was like, it was just boring. Like there was nothing going.
It was fun.
What are you remixing? What the fuck was that?
I was trying to wipe dust off my computer. Sorry.
Sure. And he hooked us up with a Lumen, this girl who's been raped and tortured by a fraternity of weirdos. Jordan Chase, who's Sherlock Holmes from that show Elementary. Is that? He used to be married to Angelina Jolie in real life. I forget his name. But
okay.
Johnny.
I thought that was all like fucking great. I really liked it. I don't know.
I just didn't get into it. I was just like, all right.
That was like the first like healthy.
To think about it, it might actually be better than season 6,
really.
honestly. I know I hated this.
No, it is.
I might have been shitting on it because of Lumen's kind of that boring character, but then thinking about it, it might be better than season 6, because season 6 is pretty fucking bad. So I might.
That's the first time that there's ever been somebody that knows who he is, but isn't like a psychopath, you know?
Yeah, she just wants revenge, and then she goes, "All right, see you later, dude," and she just kind of leaves off and has her own life, and Dexter's like crying and breaking shit in his house. So then season 6, oofa. What
I'm
a
gonna
season.
have to rewatch it, but I don't know.
Why would you just watch Under the Dome or something instead?
I am watching that, but
finish Hannibal for Christ's sakes. But in season 6, they're dealing with these religious killers, and I put killers very loosely, which is Tom Hanks' son, not the rapping one, Chet Hanks, but the other one. Tom Hanks has a son that's rapping about being poor.
Being poor?
Yeah, just Google Chet Hayes.
Is it a joke?
No. He's trying to be a rapper, and he raps about, he's cursing and stuff.
But he's not poor.
Yeah, I know that, and you know that. Maybe he doesn't know that. But
he was born to like a millionaire dad.
Later on, after this episode's done, YouTube Howard Stern Chet Hayes, because he just...
Howard Stern's bashing him?
It's fucking hilarious, because then he's just going on the whole Wigger thing, and he's like this rich kid. And Tom Hanks, Colin Hanks is playing, what's his name? Travis. I'm surprised I remembered his name. And who was Adama in this season?
He was Professor Geller.
And I remember watching, I think it was maybe 2 episodes in, and Adama and Travis are sitting down at a diner, like an outside diner, and you see a waitress serve Colin Hanks' character, and she doesn't even pay attention to Admiral Adama, and I was like, this motherfucker's not real. As soon as, because what happens is whenever I see, like, there was just something to me that just, I get very analytical with these stupid shows, and I'm like, what's this? Ever since, Fight Club, obviously, when I first saw Fight Club, I gotta be honest, when I first saw it, and the twist happened, I was like, this is the worst twist I've ever seen in any movie.
I love that movie.
Once I started watching
of that movie.
Once I saw Fight Club again, I realized how fucking stupid I was and how I loved that movie. Listen, I had the same problem with Matrix 1. I thought this movie was boring, and then when I saw it again, I was like, this movie's fucking great, so I'm an idiot. But anyway, but now, when you see little things like that, you're like, please don't tell me they're going to try this on this show. And then, of course, they did. They made it that Adama was dead for like the longest time, and Travis was just having this mental illness.
He looked nice as a popsicle, though.
And what this season tried to be was kind of Saw meets Dexter.
This is all religion. Mos Def was in it. He was reprising his role as in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I liked Mos Def in it. He was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and he was there to kind of lead Dexter to like illumination, like brightness, right?
Yeah,
to find some sort of faith. And then by the time he dies, and all the shit that happens, Dexter realizes he doesn't need God or anything because it's kind of like life is fallible, and all that shit is phony to him. So it's kind of bringing to the roots that I think the show originally was supposed to be this monster turning into a human being, but I think they just kind of lost way and is just keeping him as a monster. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so all that shit happens. Travis.
And I like that guy that killed Mos Def. He was creepy and cool.
With his dog. Once the guy says, "Oh, my dog only barks for people he doesn't know," I was like, "Oh, this guy's the fucking guy." It's like it's him. And then he does a whole thing where he's at a beach when he could get scot-free. He could be clean and free and be forgiven by Dexter. He goes, "I killed him, and I'm gonna get away with it." Laughing.
Well, he didn't know Dexter was a sicko.
Yeah, but why? You know what I mean? Why did he kill? He killed him for his gang or whatever, and he just started acting like an asshole for no reason. Like what? Whatever.
Well, it was the test. It was the test of Dexter. Did Dexter keep his promise not to hurt the killer?
So this Travis and it had some fucking leaps of illogic shit going on in this show, this season that...
You gotta admit, though, the paintings were sick. They were good.
It was good. But it was obvious that it was a painting and they just threw Michael C. Hall's face on it. It'd be funny if they threw Michael J. Fox's face on it. But,
that would be cool. And it's like still shaking, like it's like a Harry Potter picture that like moves.
Causes an earthquake and the ceiling falls down.
It's all like shaky and jittery.
But what did they do? With Travis, this is the one thing that I saw and I was like, oh my god, you can't be this bad of a show. Is that Dexter sends Travis a video mail of himself at the boat, saying, I'm gonna blah blah blah. He's sending it to a killer to taunt him. If they arrest this guy and they know who Travis is, they're gonna track his phone. They're gonna buy the pings of his phone. Unless he had a different phone, I had no idea. Unless it was a burner phone. Right. But obviously, he's gonna die, and he has that phone, or they'll find some way to find that phone. They can see that. You know what I mean? It was like such a leap of stupid logic that I couldn't believe it. And, and then there was Angel's sister was dating this techno geek, and he was.
What was her name? Even I can't think of it. And the techno geek, I really liked this character.
Well, he reminded me of you, just like look ways. But
oh, come on!
Why'd you like him for? Because he's a douchebag.
He was such a douche. Yeah.
He reminds me of that guy from. He reminded me of that guy from Mad TV, the one who played Stewart.
I've never really seen Mad TV.
Don't waste your time.
Okay.
But he's this nerd that we think is going to be set up to be this huge villain for the next season, the final season, or whatever season, and he just kind of gets dispensed for the 7th season, just gets killed, and it's like, okay, that's them writing him out of the show as well, because he had this whole thing. Remember the girl that was cock teasing Masuka, the little blonde chick that was there for a couple episodes?
Yeah, the one that
she was cute, and they got rid of her too.
Hand, right?
Yeah, they got rid of her too. I mean, she was set up so we can see that the geek was there. So anyway, we get to season 7, which is thankfully the reinvigoration of the series. It was funny because originally they were going to
no, not the coolest one, but definitely really cool.
What makes me wonder about it is because it was supposed to be 8 seasons only. That's originally the plan. And then, 7 seasons, excuse me. They were only supposed to be 7 seasons. So it makes me wonder what they stretched out and what got...
I'd say, seasons 5 and 3 could have been compressed a lot shorter, but...
Yeah, so it makes me wonder where they were at, season 6 before Showtime said, okay, we want 2 more seasons. Do you know what I mean? So, obviously something to see... I guess it gave them more breathing time, but season 7 was a real huge step up in the series, the best since season probably 4, I think.
Yeah,
or
and
even
Dokes
2.
comes back.
Yeah, Dokes. It's always funny to see when they'll do a flashback and a character. Dokes looks the same, at least, but still, he didn't get any more work on his nose. That's the thing. I wonder if he had.
Let's not get into it. Let's not get into that.
What?
Arrested Development? Is that what you're referencing?
Absolutely not. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the actor who plays Dokes has clearly a nose job or something. I don't know.
Oh, did he? I didn't notice that. I thought you were referencing Lindsay.
No, since season 1, he doesn't have a predominant Forget it. It's gonna just sound like I'm talking about racism.
Well, I mean, if his nose looked one way and it looks a different way, then
no, he just has a really tiny nose for his face, and I always thought it was a nose job. But yeah, Dokes comes back in flashback. The big bad of the season, I guess, was Hannah, and she's interesting. Yeah. She's a better version to me of Lila.
She's super hot.
Lila was a psychopath, which I guess is interesting for the show, but she wasn't going around killing people. Hannah in this season is fucking hot. I didn't even know she was in that show Chuck, that NBC show Chuck. She's she's Australian in real life, and she has a cute accent and stuff. And she's basically this girl who owns a flower shop, and she's like a Black Widow. Her husband died of a certain way, but this adds a connection between Dexter and her, and he's okay with her being a killer. With Lumen, he was in love with her, and she wanted this revenge. But I guess this is the next logical step for him to fall in love with another serial killer like this. And what do you think about season 7 as a whole? I mean, it was great.
Well, Isaac was fucking awesome, and I liked Hannah a lot.
I think Isaac had one of the best monologues when there's a part where Dexter's looking around for him, and he finds him at a gay bar. Because Dexter has killed his boyfriend. Because I guess Isaac's
boyfriend shot a cop.
Yeah, but he also murdered a hooker. So I mean, he wasn't a very good, nice guy. They were like this. What ethnicity were they? They were some Eastern European mafioso type guys.
Were they supposed to be Russian?
I think they were Slavs or something like that. Slavic. I hope that wasn't racist. I don't know if Slavs is a racist word.
I doubt there's any of them listening.
They were basically
they probably don't have the internet in that third world country.
They were probably.
Now I'm just purposely trying to be a douche.
They're probably a Serbian film kind of people. You know what I mean? They're just that type of
I felt like it was
hardcore guys.
But you could be right. I don't know.
Yeah, so that whole dance between Isaac finding out who Dexter does something every season is that he hasn't learned from season 3.
Oh wait, we forgot to say the biggest thing. Deb finds out that he's a killer in the end of season 6. Like a last second.
And I guess that's the joke of the season 6 is that he says
the only good thing that happens is the last minute of the whole.
He says, "Oh my God," which is the whole thing about the religious angle of the series. I didn't get that until somebody pointed it out to me.
Right.
And so Deb finds out, so she's kind of like, oh, so she's dancing around what she should do because she helped them cover it up by burning the church down with Travis's body in it. And I mean, it was just like a fucking crazy shit that happened. And he left his blood slide fell inside one of the grates because he's an idiot. Like I was gonna say, his problem is that he takes too long.
Ukraine, that's where Isaac is from.
Dexter takes way too long to deal with the problem. Like he likes the dance of it and hunting people down. For some reason, he does a dance with Miguel Prado. He does a dance with the Trinity Killer. He does a dance with Travis and whoever else. Not really a dance with Travis.
Well, there would be no show if he didn't.
I know, but everybody else, he'll hunt them down and kill them right then. You know what I mean? Like the guy, he killed a guy that was taking photographs of women in suggestively dead poses that didn't actually kill anybody, and he kills them. You know what I mean? He's killed at least 3 innocent people on the show, as far as I know.
Innocent is
the guy who took photos of the girls in dead poses. You think he killed anybody? He didn't kill anybody, so he killed.
I don't remember that actually.
That was the first. Like he put him up on the table and he showed him these photos of these like staged murders because all the girls that he took photos of had actually died, but it was somebody else that was doing it. And the guy on the table, he's such an idiot. He's like,
sure?
Yes, I'm 100% sure because it was another guy that killed all those characters, and it was a moral dilemma for Dexter for like 3 seconds. So and then there was a guy that he had a problem with. I think it was
a guy that he just like had a pot farm and he killed that guy.
Right, but that guy, I guess you can. It's great, but there's also the guy.
That guy was just trying to bribe him, really.
Remember the guy in the bathroom that he was being pissy with him, and he just beat him to death with a fucking claw hammer or something. That guy didn't do anything as far as we know. And then like remember when Dexter banged that girl? He like totally cuckolded some teenage boy and fucked her in the back of a store. He's been doing some bad shit. So
he's not exactly the most moral guy.
No, he's probably the worst moral guy. But anyway, in season 7, we had him deal with all this shit. And what were your thoughts? Like, what worked and what didn't work for season 7?
I thought it was a great season. I really don't have any complaints about it. I
like that they made LaGuerta do something. I hated. I wanted to punch.
She's so annoying, but like she has to be. That's like her job.
Right. She's like actually. I mean, she's kind of like she was. By season 1, she was kind of like trying to hit on Dexter, but from then on, she kind of came off as a asshole.
She is an asshole.
I was gonna say
she's such like a backstabber.
Yeah, because she was power hungry, and you know what I mean. She's trying to get her shit done. She was friends with Dokes, and when Dokes gets murdered, she was actually used to be lovers with Dokes too. But once he gets murdered, she kind of can't believe that the guy she was dating was this serial murderer, and he wasn't because they framed him as a Bay Harbor butcher. And she kind of came off as an asshole, but I actually was rooting for her. But then I knew it was like she's gonna die. I mean, there's no question she's gonna die if she finds out who Dexter is. Yeah. But at least they gave her shit to do. You know what I mean? She was actually actively looking for him. We actually see her being smart until that asshole fuck captain, the ex-captain on his boat, goes up to Dexter and he's like, she's looking around thinking, fucking idiot.
Oh no!
And then he's not. I know, right?
Dexter to get away.
I know, but then he's not surprised that she gets murdered by some other guy because she was going. Oh, that's so stupid. Everything that she was saying was accurate, but he just didn't want to believe it.
And they framed the guy that killed Dexter's mom, right?
Yeah, right. Do you like Harry?
I love Harry.
Harry's awesome. Plus Harry's from the Warriors, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Harry's like so great. I mean, I guess he's like one of my favorite characters, even though he's not alive.
Really, yeah. It's so funny. It would be funny if he was a dark passenger, somewhat given form. But season 7 was really good as a whole. I mean, some logic stuff aside, I think it was probably a really true to form, return to how the series should be. You know what I mean? Like good drama and deaths and all that crazy shit. The thing is with the show is that for some reason to me, it doesn't seem like the violence is as good as the first season ever was. Right. Like for me, the first season it was really graphically violent.
There's a lot of
and the way he killed people, like it wasn't really off screen most of the time. Like and he killed people different ways, like hammers through the head and shit like that. Like he didn't just slice their throats or stab them in the heart. Like he does it really clinically. Maybe they just wanted to make him look that horrible of a monster.
I mean, the cool violence is more on the bad guys than on Dexter.
Because I remember Dexter when he there was one part where he brings a saw down to a guy, and then the shot right after was him dumping the guy's head inside of a bag, and you never see that anymore. You just see him stab him really nicely.
Oh, and you got to admit, in season 6, there is a scene where Travis puts all the dead bodies like roped together on a horse. That's fucking cool.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool actually. Yeah, that was.
There was some cool shit.
There was some cool
season.
murder. That's why I say it was more like Saw, like that whole thing with the girl whose ribs were split open, so she had angel wings, shit like that.
Right, and the fucking weird cult people that followed Travis, like they were so creepy.
Now
like, there is some good shit in there.
Now if they had the level of murders that they do on Hannibal, on Dexter, that would be fucking great.
I feel like Hannibal is like the same level. I don't think it's better.
You're probably right, because I think you're right, but I think
Hannibal's a more artsy show.
Yeah, that's probably why I prefer Hannibal at this moment to Dexter, just because
it's got an Antichrist feeling. We'll talk about that.
It has a really beautiful art aesthetic to it. So then we lead to the finale. How did it go? We had Hannah finds a way to escape prison. Dexter puts Deborah in a really bad situation that she kills LaGuerta instead of killing her brother. Although LaGuerta was like, kill him, like really badly acting. She could have said, arrest him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And instead of just standing there, if I was LaGuerta, I would have walked up to Deborah. Do you know what I mean? But then Dexter was there standing with his knife. But like, if in your head, would you just be sitting there going, shoot him? I'd be like scrambling to Deborah and be like, okay, arrest this motherfucker. Even though she probably still killed him. Vince Masuka is still not doing anything. Although, remember they had him set up with some hot little girlfriend in one of the seasons, like before when he was setting up Dexter's.
She's awesome. He said something like immediately in the new episode. What did he say? Oh God, that new woman came in and like said something, and he did like a Beavis and Butthead. Like she said,
"Oh right, yeah."
Whatever the hell.
I think it was self-insert, some stupid phrase like that. But there was like that was another thing they dropped. Like Vince was set up with some hot girl who was setting up Dexter's wedding, and then she vanished too. I was like, what the fuck? At least let him get some ass. But anyway, so we're left with that. And season 8 premieres how? 6 months after, right?
Well, I'm trying to think how it immediately starts. I know that
Deb
is like doing coke and shit, like all these things. Yeah, I'm trying to remember like the first shot though.
She's in her new phase of drug-addled hoe.
Right.
She's working undercover, and people online are being like, "Why would she be undercover if she's probably one of the most well-known like police lieutenants on television?"
This guy doesn't know who she is.
Right. So I mean, not everybody knows. I mean, we live in New York, so I know who Ray, whatever his name is, the guy, the police commissioner. I know who the mayor is. We know all those people. But
right.
I guess in TV land, you can't. I guess you can be a bounty hunter and just kind of do it, but she's doing it. Kind of seems like it's like a real step down from what she did. Like she's basically
she's like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, that's what I just said. She's trying to find the stuff that these guys have fenced, like these jewelry and shit like that. And Dexter's actively trying to pursue her to look for her because she's not answering her phone calls. There's a new female Dokes who appeared briefly in season 7. We just call her female Dokes.
Who's that? Evan Vogel?
The young lady, the new detective that's with the group. The one that Batista goes, "Oh, what size are your pants?" And she's like, "What? You don't need to know that." Yeah. And she's like there for whatever reason, because apparently some people have been saying, "Oh, they're gonna do a spin-off of Dexter," but they don't say how.
Is she mean? I don't remember.
No, she seems all right. I mean, she kind of seems like a blank slate. Like they don't really have that many ethnic characters on Dexter. They're either Cuban or white. You know what I mean? And there was like Dokes died, then he was replaced by Quinn, but then they had another African American guy who was Mike. What's his name? The black cop.
They got killed.
And he got killed like the first episode of season 6, and you're like, what the fuck happened to him? 7. Sorry. And then they kill him, and then he's replaced by this girl. What I want to know is what happened to the internal affairs cop, the cute one that was chasing around Quinn because she knew that he was a dirty cop. Remember her? She vanished. She never came back to find out what happened to Quinn. You're like, what fucking happened to this girl?
I guess it doesn't matter really.
I guess it really doesn't. But supposedly Showtime is thinking about making a spin-off with I guess maybe the cops or somebody else from Dexter. I don't know.
They shouldn't do that.
They should do a Vince Masuka party hour. Like he just goes.
Right.
He's like every episode, just running around looking for girls and shit. What would you go? What do you think would work with this season premiere?
This episode, like usually with Dexter in particular, like the first 4 episodes of the season are like nothing. Usually it's like very slow moving and like, it's very gradually getting you into it, and then by the end it's like crazy. This is like already crazy, like it instantly is crazy. They really compacted like so much into this one episode. If the whole season is like this is going to be the craziest season there is.
Yeah, I think they're going the right route because Deborah's already fucked up. Deborah's trying to avoid him. She's like, I wish it was you I shot. Now little Harrison talks and he wears fruity light blue jeans. Yeah. He's getting himself into Dennis the Menace like shenanigans.
He breaks vases. I predict that Batista is going to find the broken vase and like take offense, and now he's going to be suspicious of Dexter.
I don't think he'll be suspicious, but there's definitely a file that he sees, right, that he thinks is weird.
But he rips it up.
Yeah, he's an asshole. And I swear to you, I think somebody's going to die and look weird as bench.
Oh, yeah?
I totally think somebody's going to get killed on that bench, because there's a reason for that bench that it's there.
Maybe Dev will, like, blow her brains out on it or something.
What do you think's going to happen? You think
Dexter all I know
dies?
Is I really do not want him to just get caught and get the death penalty and everyone know. I want him to go out either with a huge bang, kill a bunch of, like, really bad people, and then kill himself or something. Or I want, like, Dev to kill him.
What if, like, he joins, like, a terrorist cell?
He becomes, like, Al-Qaeda.
And then you see him put... the opening is the same fucking opening for 8 years straight. You see him putting out a bomb trap on his chest.
It's like... They cut the orange, all this stuff, and then it just goes like a desert scene, and there's like a cave or something.
He doesn't have that many people to kill because he's now in, like, Afghanistan. And anyway, so then there's, like, a new character, Ellison. I think that's the guy's name who runs... He was a cop, and he I don't know if his name is Ellison, I'm sorry. I think he was one of the Boondock Saints, am I right?
Oh, the one that's the bounty hunter boss?
Yeah, is that one of the Boondock Saints? I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I didn't care about him. My main character that I loved was the Dr. Vogel, whatever.
Jacob Elway, excuse me, was Sean Patrick Flannery, who was one of the... Sorry to cut you off. One of the Boondock Saints, who's one of the other one was Daryl, obviously from The Walking Dead. But go ahead, yeah. Vogel. Vogel is now this... she's a neurologist, and she also studies serial killers.
Neuroscientist, psychologist, whatever. But like instantly, the whole time, she's like just on Dexter's ass, like looking at him and talking to him, and it's like the whole time you're getting creeped out, like but like I didn't expect it to conclude so quickly.
I think what they realized, they got one season left, so they were like, "This is good."
They really like that. If this, I think if they had more seasons, that would have happened in episode 4 or something. Like the realization that she knows his whole code and everything.
She's got that English accent. She's got that cold motherfucking look. She looks like more of a psychopath than Dexter is. And I think what they're leading up to with the previews for the next episode is that she probably had some... there's something dirty about her, obviously, because she knows Dexter is a killer.
I think she's had an affair with Harry or something.
It'd be funny if she was Dexter's mom, if that was it. But because she kind of looks like him. She actually looks like Michael Z. Hall with a longer wig. Like whenever they had the flashbacks of Dexter as a teenager, and he's clearly a 40-year-old man with a long wig on. It's the worst. God. But Vogel's like this really tough lady, and the way they're making it look like is that she had some patients that she probably either said were okay, and then she wants him to hunt them down and kill them for her.
Right.
And she's like, "You can't kill me. I'm not in your code." But I'm like, he's killed a bunch of people that had nothing to do with murdering anybody. So, in fact, he kills a guy today because the guy was just wanted to kick his ass. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of shit going on. And then another guy...
Well, he's like losing it now. He tried to kill that black guy in the car, remember?
Yeah, and of course the black guy wouldn't look at his license plates and report him to the police with his kid in the car. Right? No, nobody would do that. Nobody would ever do that. So they're looking for this new killer who's pulling out, I guess, the lump in the brain that processes empathy for people, I believe, or some sort of feeling. And Vogel's there just to they bring her in to kind of wonder what this shit is all about. And I think it's a really strong opening, and I'm very happy what they're going to do with it. Quinn is fucking Batista's sister, and I think in the trailer it looked like Batista punched the shit out of Quinn. And rightfully
Oh, really?
so. Yeah, it looks like it in the trailer for the next episode. But I think it's going to be a really good season because
It's gonna be amazing.
Dexter kills Deborah's boyfriend in the first episode, and she's like, "Fuck!" She still covers up for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's no way it's like
And then, oh my god, they showed her confessing in the trailer.
Yeah. She probably confessed to illegally parking. It's probably not going to be anything huge.
She's like, I parked my car in a handicap zone.
But it's going good. I think it's going to be a really, really good season. And just the scene alone with Vogel, where he was talking to, where she was talking to Dexter about, you know, in her office about shit, and it was just like creepy, and the music was like perfect for the scene. It was like, to me, I felt the same way when I saw him speaking with Isaac at the gay bar. Like, it was just a really cool scene between these two enemies. And I hope like people
but
say...
But she's not an enemy. She's like a friend. It's weird.
But she's setting him up for him to do jobs for her. Just for her knowing him, that he's a killer, she's already morally... what's the word? You're morally fucked up. That's what it is.
Right.
I'm trying to find the smarter word, but I can't, obviously.
Enabling?
And then, no, forget it. Who cares?
Corrupt?
They had like what? Well, it's sort of corrupt, but I think there's another word where you're like, it's like one of those really high class words where you're like an agent.
I don't know anything about
exactly. That's why'd you make me keep going on? But they show like a kite that was flying earlier in the episode has landed in the bushes, all fucked up. So we're kind of like Dexter sits on LaGuardia's chair, so that
what an ugly
signifies
bench,
something.
Too.
It is.
The
It's gonna be
of Miami.
You can tell it's a fucking cheap prop. That's why. Something's gonna happen. I know it with that fucking. Maybe not, but something will happen. I hope. I'm proven right. So, what is your rating for this first episode? Was it Brand New Day? A Beautiful Day?
Beautiful Day. 10 out of 10.
Day. I will also.
10 out of 10 crabby old women that had sex with your dad, probably, and masturbated at the idea of our beautiful son.
I will give it a 10 out of 10. Lieutenant's young sister, who was disgusted by you clearly in one of the first seasons, is obviously just fucking you. What's his name? Quinn within the next season. And with that, Danny. Hold on. Let me get the music going on. What's the final word?
Get the music. Come on.
What's the final word?
Sha 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 sha. Sha.
The horror deconstruction.